final score, Aston Villa 2, City 1. Well, City's season of woe continues. 9 defeats in the last 12 games in all competitions. The guys in the studio, Keith Curle and Andy Morrison, I'm sure will have plenty to say.
A tough result, 2-1 Villa. Where are the positives, guys?
Foden scores. I think probably the first time he's had a little ricochet go his way inside of the box. So that's a positive.
He breaks that. Shots without scoring. Could this be a catalyst for him to kick on the rest of his season?
I don't think. I think his performances have been okay. His goal return is not what it was last season, but again, he's a type of player that he needs a platform and a foundation behind him to build on and have that confidence to go, going forward. At the minute, you'd say we're lacking that physical presence, that physical or that defensive mentality as a sitting midfield player that stops the opposition getting straight through at the back four.
I think looking at the team, for me, I think the midfield lacks real energy. Like, we sort of need someone to come on, and Duran, Rodgers, with a bit of pace, they were really strong, and it just felt like they were cutting through it.
I think when you're in a run like City are in, I think it almost looks like there's a lack of energy in there. It looks like there's a lack of physicality. It seems like midfields are running over us, you know, on the turnover of possession. I mean, they've got Anana who's just sat in front, so everything that does break, and that's what they're confronted with. So they then go right or left. Yeah. That allows recovery runs. We seem to be able, you know, we're actually working on a pivot of one of the back four going into midfield too, but none are really at that out and out who's reading the game and getting in line with the ball to force it into an area to slow up the turnover. And you know, it's obviously difficult. It's really, really difficult moment, and I don't think you can attempt to sugarcoat it over and, you know, you ask, is there a positive? There are very, very little positives at the minute. That's where we're at. And it's too easy then to start, you know, looking after yourself, keeping your head down. Or you need people to go and be strong now. But you must stick together. You must stay strong together and wait for it to turn. And it will turn. It will. It has to, because, you know, this is something that these players and this management have never, ever experienced. But stay strong, stay together, and work your way through it.
Right, let's go pitch side to FG and Brownie.
Yeah, full time from Villa Park. Manchester City 2-1 losers in the end. A goal from Phil Foden right at the death. We just didn't create enough, did we, in the second half?
No, we didn't. I think the second half was a little bit lacklustre. It wasn't as punchy as normal, FG. They had more control, Aston Villa. They pushed in, they counter-attacked us. We did keep going. We finally got a breakthrough at the end of the second half with Phil Foden. I think that is a plus point, isn't it? Getting Phil underway in the Premier League. And there's Pep applauding the supporters. He'll be hurting. He'll be wondering, how can he fix this?
Yeah, I mean, you see the players putting their shirts in. Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish. The last game before Christmas and Boxing Day next, Everton at home. This has to turn at some point, doesn't it?
It has to. We keep saying that. I think we're seeing the frustration right at the end where Jack Grealish just fouled Jhon McGinn. It was almost, we needed a bit more of that sort of fight and passion in the second half, and because you have to find a way to change the outcome so we can keep playing. That wasn't working, and maybe we're I don't want to, just a little bit softer than normal out of possession. They got the grips of it, they had the fight, they drove through, and then we couldn't find the outcome and the result to match. That's really disappointing now. It's a poor run, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really poor run, a difficult run, but I mean, it's good that we're back at the Etihad against Everton at home after Christmas. Boxing Day fixture, another early kick-off. We just have to bounce back now. We just need to get a result.
But it's the next game. You get back to the training ground, you recover. We've seen John Stones as well at half-time. Let's hope that's not too bad, but it's the next one. That's all you can do. Everton, how do we get a result? How do we find a way of stopping this type of results, that's for certain. But performance today, I felt in the second half, wasn't at the level that we've had. First half, I thought we controlled the possession after a poor start. That'll be the biggest disappointment, the lack of control in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely, lack of control indeed. But listen, we keep fighting, we keep going together like we always do. Brownie, have a great Christmas. Thank you for joining us. Match Live, we'll head back to the studio and we'll see you on Boxing Day.
Thank you very much, guys. Right, positives. Savinho came on and looked very lively. Was you impressed with his cameo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Savinho, and and I think he is a player that needs that little break, a goal. I think you could explode then. Doku always excites me when he comes on. Immediately people double up on him very quickly to stop him, which then creates space elsewhere. And then, of course, as Keith said, Phil scoring the goal, which gets out of that run. And he is a player who does score in batches. It always follows another one. When he scores one, it's always the next game he might get a brace, but he plays in them little things, and that I think breaking that duck today is a big positive. But Doku and Savinho with a threat and pace to go beyond is a huge positive.
Would you two have brought them on earlier? Savinho came on 75th minute, Doku 81st. Is that too late in the game?
Again, it's difficult because Pep will know where, physically and mentally where the players are at, and within that game, it could have been an argument. When do you open the game up and go with two wingers? But again, Pep's very protective of his players as well. Going through a stage at the minute where it's difficult. And because we're in a results industry and we're not getting the results that we want, and that Andy was talking about it then. The important thing is that togetherness, that mentality, that strength of character within that changing room is needed now, and it's led by Pep. And I can imagine how Pep won't go in there shouting and bawling and screaming, but again, he will be back to training on Monday with positive mindsets. You've got to identify the areas that you can do better. And again, one of the things it will be being more creative going forward, moving the ball quicker and getting numbers into the box. And again, so I'm pleased personally for Foden scoring, because you could tell that he's having shots, he's getting, but like him making that little movement, a little 1-2, receiving the ball back and then finishing it. Excellent.
Is that the key now then, to treat this as draw a line under it, tomorrow's a new day, let's not dwell on it, pick out what we did well and keep going? Is that how you get out of a bad spell of form?
Good habits. Good habits. And again, I've done it as a manager and a coach, and you can, when things aren't going well, you can have meetings and you can talk, but talking's not enough. It's one of those, it's actions, what you do, but it's what you do on a daily basis on the training ground and then in games, because no matter what, when you're a professional footballer, it's all about what you do on game day. You can talk a great game through the week, perform on a Saturday.
Is that why fans tend to panic quicker than managers? Because we don't see them training day in, day out. The manager obviously sees that, sees the positive interactions and goes, look, we'll get out of this, whereas we just see 90 minutes on a Saturday or Sunday, and it's easy to get lost in that.
Yeah, it can be, and probably it's not so much fans. In my experience, lower down in management, it's the chairman are the ones that panic. They don't see what you're doing in the restructuring, and you do get periods where there is a change of dynamics that's needed at the football club, and some, unfortunately, the thing that do suffer is that level of consistency on the playing surface, on the playing field. And when you got a team that are champions and they're used to being at the top, we're going through that transitional period. Yeah, you can't always be at the top while it happens.
Let's look forward to Everton on Boxing Day. What do we need to do to ensure a positive result there, Andy?
Well, we need to do in many phases what we're doing in games, where we're dominating possession. There's periods of play which are pleasant on the eye, but a little bit more in the final third. Producing opportunities and then maintaining it for longer in the game. Obviously the turnover in possession, how quick we can recover. But on a positive, it is the winter solstice. It's the darkest day of the year, so maybe this is the turn. Will De Bruyne be available for the next game to start? I think what's really important is, and me and Keith were talking about it during in the game, you got a half-time change again at centre half. I don't think there's any team in the Premier League this year that will have had as many changes in a back four with a different permutations that City have had, that plays a huge part. You know, your centre-half is and your full-backs and you get that, but again, a change at half-time, so the rhythm is never the same. And it feels that way, you know, on the turnover of possession, that people are running into different areas where the connection's not there. You know, I felt really strong with Diaz. You know, he's going to be out a couple of weeks. So I still believe when everybody's fit and the squad's at its strongest, more than enough to win games of football and go on a run, you know, back into the top 4 and push on from there. But, you know, it's a really difficult period at the moment, and everyone's got to stay strong and positive, you know, starting with Everton on Boxing Day.
Everton got a point against Arsenal, Chelsea next, and then us Boxing Day. They're tough fixtures. Will that mean Everton can come and play with a bit more freedom, with less pressure on their shoulders?
No, I think if you have a look at Everton, very similar to, I thought, Villa. I know everybody wanted City to win today, or we wanted City to win today, but you've got to give credit to Villa, disciplined, organised, had their game plan about catching City on the break and knowing that they had the dynamics to cause us problems on the break. Everton won't be too dissimilar to that. Have a look at Sean Dyche's teams. They're strong, they're organised, they enjoy a physical encounter. They're very competitive in both boxes. So it's one of those you've got to make sure that, you know, from set pieces you've got to be switched on. And then to avoid that physical encounter on the pitch, you need to move the ball quickly, which means then you need options off of the ball. The man on the ball needs options, and then move the ball quickly and then exploit areas where you can get 1v1s or overloads in areas, and then you've got to be clinical inside that 18-yard box. But to do that, you need numbers to get into the box as well.
Playing on Boxing Day, what's that like as a player? What are they going to be thinking coming into that fixture?
As a professional, the date, the time of the season, it's a game of football that you've prepared mentally and physically for. Whether they've trained, whether they haven't trained, whether they've trained in the morning and came and stayed overnight, it's one of those. This is their job. And again, the time of the year, it's a distraction, and they would have done all the Christmas shopping and everything. But ultimately, they're professionals. They get up, they have breakfast, or they do training, they come back, they have their dinner. But then whether they go and stay in hotels, which a lot of clubs will say, you can have the afternoon with your family, and then you're in the hotel, and it's mental preparation.
Andy, what about you? What are your thoughts on? Have you had any positive experiences on Boxing Day?
Yeah, if we win a game of football, it's really positive. You know, there's a lot of work, you know, and I don't think Pep will go away and sit with his staff and reflect. There's a lot of work to pick the players up, to find that energy and galvanise the whole squad to go again. And it's literally, you have to go again. And make sure that the best version of you turns up against Everton, however that looks. Whatever personnel are playing, you know, make sure we're at our best, and the fans will be there, you know, in numbers. There'll be an energy there, because I think everyone realises now that whatever can pick up and give a bit more energy, whether that coming from the fans and individual performance, it's needed. And you know, there's a lot of work to do over the next few days to get ready for that game, because it is a huge game, you know, which leads you into New Year, a fresh start, and put this kind of really difficult end to 2024 behind us.
Well, guys, thank you very much, and everyone at home, we wish you a Merry Christmas to all those celebrating. We're going to leave you now with a special festive video celebrating all of the work the club does in the community. This is 0161 Christmas is Calling. Bye-bye.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
I think this is a very good bag.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, super little help there.
They've been complaining to me saying, why are you stopping the tournament now? We'll understand in a minute.
You're going to be Ilkay Gundogan's team.
So do we get like Gundo and I don't
Oh, a gift.
I can put a lot of things.
Yeah, as much as you want.
ultimate Christmas present, football. Beautiful.
I think I'll be happy with this flag if it was me, like.
Feel free to get involved as much as you're allowed.
When the players walked into the room, you could just see the faces light up, not just of the children, but of the parents as well, and that means such a lot to us.
Happy Christmas!
These your friends?
He's my boy.
Nice.
Boy.
What's on your Christmas list?
Meeting a football player, which kind of just happened.
Nice to meet you.
The club that you're playing for is absolutely fantastic. What City in the community do for the community. Thanks very much and give yourself a clap.
Hello. How are we? Tell you what, mate, I'm a big fan of Christmas, so I love this. All right, mate.
I'm going to be generous, you're getting everything. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.